Good morning, students. Welcome back to your geography lesson. This is your second lesson in grade 10. Last class, I gave you to write down the definition of geography in your notebook. And then we learned about the latitude and the longitude. And then I asked you to solve one map in your map book and an online quiz too. Today, we begin by understanding the expectations of this year. I will tell you what you can expect this geography year to be like. What chapters are we supposed to study and what all will it cover? The chapters that we have this year are Resources and Development, Forest and Wildlife, Water Resources, Agriculture, Minerals and Energy Resources, Manufacturing Industries, Lifelines of National Economy. The first chapter, Resources and Development. This chapter deals with types of resources, development of resources, resource planning in India, land resource, land utilization, land use pattern in India, land degradation and conservation measures, soil as a resource, classification of soils, soil erosion, and soil conservation. In this chapter, we will explore about resources. First, we will understand what is a resource, and then we will understand how do you develop a resource, and in India, is resource planning important? If so, why? Besides that, we will understand two resources, that is land and soil. In land, we will understand how land is a resource, how land can be utilized to its best capacity. We will understand the land use pattern in India, the degradation of land, and how can we conserve it. Besides land, we will also learn about the soil. How are the soils classified? How does the soil get eroded? And how can we conserve it? In this chapter, the main learning objective is to understand the value of resources and the need for their judicious utilization and conservation. The second chapter that we have is Forest and Wildlife. We share this planet with millions of other living beings, and together we form an ecological system. In this chapter, we will understand biodiversity or biological diversity, flora and fauna, vanishing forests, Asiatic cheetah, where did they go? The Himalayan ewe in trouble, conservation of forest and wildlife in India, Project Tiger, types of distribution of forest and wildlife resources, community and conservation. In this chapter, we want to make you aware of the different types of animals and birds, and even the species which are now on the verge of extinction. We will together learn how to save them. And we will also learn about the different government policies for saving them. This chapter is to be assessed only in the internal examinations and will not be asked in the board examination. The main learning objective of this chapter is to understand the importance of forests and wildlife in one environment, as well as develop concept towards the depletion of resources. Water resources. Sorry for the spelling error here. Water is the elixir of life. Water is the crucial difference between the emergence of life forms and their absence on other planets. This elixir of life is not only crucial to the sustenance of human, animal, and plant life, but it is also responsible for the maintenance of atmospheric processes that further help in regulating the global energy and heat balance. In this chapter, we will learn about the water scarcity and the need for water conservation and management. We will learn about the multi-purpose river projects and the integrated water resources management. Finally, we will learn about rainwater harvesting. These children, you will learn why water is important, how we can save water, and how can we develop awareness for its judicious utilization. We will explore different rainwater harvesting methods which have been adopted in different states. At the end of this, I hope you appreciate water conservation strategies and help the local people solve their water crisis. The learning objective of this chapter is to comprehend the importance of water as a resource and also develop awareness towards the judicious use of water conservation. This chapter will be assessed only in the periodic or the internal assessment, and it shall not be a part of the final board examination. Next chapter is agriculture. India is one of the important countries in terms of agriculture. About 65 to 70% of the people in India are still engaged in agriculture and contribute to the Indian economy. Agriculture in India meets the food requirements of nearly 125 crore people, and it contributes to 13.9% of GDP of the country. In this chapter, we will learn types of farming, the different cropping patterns, the major crops, technological and institutional reforms, and the impact of globalization on agriculture. Agriculture is a very old and primary economic activity in our country. So, through this chapter, we will understand the agricultural production, unlike industry, cannot be regulated, and agriculture is dependent on physical conditions. You will learn about the different types of crops and their use, and realize the productivity of soil diminishes with the increasing cultivation. You will learn about the different changes that took place in the agriculture since independence, and you will be able to identify the agricultural problems and list the different technological and institutional measures that can be implemented to solve them. Through this chapter, the main learning objectives are to explain the importance of agriculture in the national economy, to identify various types of farming and discuss the various farming methods, to describe the spatial distribution of major crops, as well as to understand the relationship between rainfall regimes and cropping patterns. At the end, you will be able to explain the various government policies for the institutional as well as technological reforms in agriculture since independence. The next chapter is minerals and energy resources. Minerals are found in various forms in nature, ranging from the hardest diamond to the softest talc in three forms: igneous and metamorphic rocks, in beds or layers of the sedimentary rocks, and through decomposition of sedimentary or surface rocks. In this chapter, you will first learn what is a mineral. Then we will explore the different modes of occurrences of the minerals. You will then be able to differentiate between ferrous and non-ferrous minerals. Then you will learn about the non-metallic minerals, rock minerals, conservation of minerals, and then we will explore the energy resources, the conventional and the non-conventional energy resources. And finally, we will understand how can we conserve the energy resources. In this chapter, you will be able to classify minerals as well as energy resources. You will be aware of the energy resources and the distribution of them in India. You will learn how these minerals are exploited, and we will also discuss various types of minerals and their uneven distributions, and later on even speak about the need of the judicious utilization of minerals. At the end, you will be able to tell how minerals can be conserved and best utilized, and you will also know the method of conservation. The main learning objectives of this chapter is to identify different types of minerals and energy resources and places of their availability, and to make you feel the need for their judicious use. The next chapter that we have is manufacturing industries. Manufacturing is a secondary economic activity, and it is responsible for the economic strength of a country. Industrial development is regarded essential for higher incomes, eradication of unemployment, and poverty. So in this chapter, we will learn about the importance of manufacturing, their contribution to the national economy, different locations of industries. Then we will classify the industries, learn the spatial distribution. We will also discuss the ill effects of the industrial pollution and the environmental degradation. And finally, how can we control the environmental degradation? The main learning objective of this chapter is to bring out the importance of industries in the national economy, as well as understand the regional disparities. These regional disparities are a result due to the concentration of industries in some areas. We will later on even discuss the need for a planned industrial development and debate upon the role of government towards sustainable development. The last chapter for this year is Lifelines of National Economy. The movement of goods and services from supply locations to demand locations, which happens over the three most important domains of Earth, that is land, water, and air. This is exactly what we are going to explore in this chapter. In this chapter, we will talk about transport, roadways, railways, pipelines, waterways, and airways. We will talk about the communication and also understand the need for communication, the importance of transport and communication in this ever shrinking world. We will learn about the international trade and how tourism is a trade. The main learning objectives of this chapter is to explain the importance of transport and communication in the ever shrinking world, to understand the role of trade and tourism in the economic development of a country. This is what you can look forward to learning in geography this year. Before I end the class, I'd like to speak about this quote, which I think perfectly summarizes this year for us in geography. The study of geography is more than just memorizing places on a map. It's about understanding the complexity of our world, appreciating the diversity of cultures that exist across continents, and in the end, it's about using all the knowledge to help bridge divides and bring people together. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.